following is a presentation of GRS TV.
We set the bar high. On top, cause we so fly. Name in the bright lights. Looking like a star shine. We set the bar high. On top, cause we so fly. Name in the bright lights. Looking like a star shine.
It's the final week of the regular season and a game with playoff implications here at Williams Stadium as the Sachse Mustangs take on the North Garland Raiders. Steve Reeves here, joined by my partner Scott Garner. And Scott, tell you what, pretty easy for the Mustangs. They've got to win to have a shot in this game. So win tonight for Sachse, gives them at least a chance. But I'll tell you what, they're playing a pretty sneaky good North Garland team.
It's a sneaky good North Garland team that is without their star quarterback, God's Power Nawahi. But they've been getting along without him. Should they win without him tonight, it'll be their first win without their starting quarterback. We'll see how it goes. But this Sachse team, a team that can win tonight, get some help. They lose by 2 to Wiley last week, and they lost a couple of close ones, but they've been playing a lot better. They really rely on the defensive unit up front, as we see Mark Behrens right there. Jerron Counts and Corey Walls are two just outstanding defensive tackles for this team. And in fact, Coach Behrens has been coaching that defensive line, because the defensive line coach right before the season began ended up having to go back into retirement. Behrens takes it back over. That unit is probably their strongest unit. It's really given him a sense of pride as the head coach, and they've got a chance to win tonight, get help, and then perhaps see some postseason action with only 3 district wins.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, as you mentioned earlier, they started the season slow, 1-5, really kind of unaccustomed to seeing Sachse teams, start that slow. But as you said, they kind of started picking up that momentum as we got to the middle of the district play. A tough loss, as you said, last week to Wiley, one they thought they should have won. That really would have catapulted them in the driver's seat for that final playoff spot. So we'll see how they bounce back tonight.
It's really unfortunate because, as Coach Behrens had talked about, they sacked the quarterback a couple of times. Ball was laying there. They couldn't quite recover the fumble, so they couldn't get over the hump. They were limited offensively, and they ended up losing that ball game by 2. And they hope that they can somehow contain a North Garland team that typically loves to run the football.
And we see the kick. It's a high end over end kick. It's going to be taken around the 16-yard line. This one's going to be returned. Pretty good hole up the middle there on the wedge. And it's going to get out across the 32, about the 33, and that's where the Mustangs will start. So we're going to see the Sachse offense first. The Raiders did win the opening toss. They did defer to the second half, so the Mustangs decided to receive the football, and that's why we're going to see them on offense first here tonight. And, of course, starting at quarterback for the Mustangs is number 16, Brendan George. And, boy, I tell you, he's really gotten better as the season's gone on.
He comes in having completed 62% of his passes. Needs just 49 yards to eclipse the 1,000-yard mark this year.
Brendan Haygood is the running back, and he is going to get the handoff on first down to the middle of the field there in a short gain of only about a yard, maybe a yard and a half on the carry.
Really like what Haygood has brought to this team. Popacana is really their star back, but Haygood is a guy that they love to run read option. You see that right there. Was able to put his foot in the ground. The offensive line, though, has got to get better at allowing that early penetration in games. Just cannot have any tackles for loss. Can't fall behind the chains if you're a Sachse Mustang tonight.
Second down and 9 to go here as they send a man in motion. There's the snap and the fake handoff. They're going to run what looks like the option. Boy, George has a lot of room out here to the left. Still on his feet across the 40, and it's going to be tackled close to the 30-yard line. That is a huge gain for the quarterback.
Huge gain, who came in with 133 yards on the ground and gets about 40 right here. They fake the counter to the right. Flow goes right. Outside linebacker nowhere to be found. You see a bad angle taken by Miles, the safety there, and a nice stiff arm to get him close to the 30-yard line. Great explosive play right out of the chute.
Absolutely. Mustangs in good shape here at the 31 of North Garland. There's the snap. Going to hand the ball off this time inside once again, and a nice gain of about 6 yards that time for, again, the running back number 28, Brendan Haygood.
The Sachse team wanted to control the ball tonight, and it starts with the offensive line. It's a great block, great fan block by that defensive end. And Haygood again, nose forward. You get 4, 5, 6 yards on first down. It helps your quarterback out so much. And Brendan George, who's just a junior, 5'10", 165. You know, he got sacked a couple of times last week, and they hope to keep the pressure off of him.
Quick throw out to Jack Krill, and he's going to have good yardage down the sideline, thrown out of bounds at around the 15-yard line. That's going to be another first down, a gain of 10 more.
Really
nice drive here so far, Scott, for the Mustangs.
It is, and I like how they quickly get it on the edge and they go with a swing pass. It's a nice throw because he's able to lead the running back that time. That's actually Jet Creel, who's a wide receiver, but he leads him, and so he's able to continue with his stride and picks up an extra 4 or 5 yards as a result.
There's that little quick pass there to number 1. Boy, they got a lot of running room out here to the left. It's going to be close. I think he's going to be knocked out at around the 2-yard line. That's number 1, Cortland Scott. Boy, another nice play there as they send the slot man in motion once again. And that quick pitch, or the quick pass, I should say, picks up big yardage.
Yeah, and that's really his 31st reception. I like how Scott's able to get to the edge. Brendan Haygood was able to block out there on the edge. He's a running back. They love his pass protection, but when he can get on the edge, Haygood, very effective in the blocking game.
I formation here on 1st and goal. The handoff to the deep back, and he is going to be into the end zone for a touchdown. And just like that, the Mustangs on the board on the 1-yard touchdown run by number 28, Brendan Haygood.
Oh, a really nice drive to start this ball game. Did not take long. Little I formation, old school, and they just pound. That's what, you know, their head coach Mark Behrens is about. This is his 19th year. He is not afraid to line these guys up and just run straight at you. And Sachse, needing a victory to get into the postseason, is on the board first.
Extra point is right down the middle and good. So our score as we look at Brendan Haygood as we head to break. The Sachse Mustangs 7, the North Garland Raiders coming up. Quick drive for the Mustangs on their opening possession. They're out to the early 7-0 lead over the North Garland Raiders. Again, we talked about it in the opener. The Mustangs, of course, need to win this game to stay, alive in the playoff chase. We'll talk a little bit about the playoffs as we go throughout the broadcast. But, well, I tell you what, a great opening drive, and that's a good sign for the Mustangs to start quick.
It's a good tone setter, and they did it so many different ways. They ran inside, they were able to use the flip pass. They swung the ball to the right. They used some misdirection. Really nice opening drive.
Here is the deep kick, going to be taken at the 10-yard line by the deep back, and here comes the return. That is number 5, I believe, on the return. That would be, it's not number 5, it's number 6. There you go. That is Jalen Soblay, and boy, pretty nice return out there to around the 24-yard line. And let's see how the Raiders offense comes out on the field as they need to try to answer the Sachse drive.
Yeah, and it's an offense that comes in averaging 416 yards per game, 261 of those on the ground. And, you know, ever since God's Power Nawahi went out due to injury, they have not been able to win a game. They've been very competitive, but just have not been able to post that W.
There's a snap. And the handoff goes to the running back there to the outside. Boy, not much there. Number 13 with the carry. That, of course, Jaden Davis, the leading rusher for the Raiders. And I would imagine we'll see a heavy dose of Davis tonight.
Yeah, and how about Bashawn Brunswick, that outside linebacker, gets there in a hurry and wraps him up. He was kind of high load that time. I thought they ended up run fitting very nicely. You see Kendrick Hanks getting the start tonight.
Snap on second down. The handoff once again to Davis. This time trying it to the left side. And, boy, not much doing here in the running game early for the Raiders as a gain of only 1 will set up a 3rd down and long.
And Taurus Rucker, who's the first-year head coach for North Garland, knows that they have got to be able to establish the run to open up any kind of pass. But you watch The inside tackles, you're looking at Walls and Counts. Those two guys have improved like nobody's business. Counts, a guy that last week tallied 4 tackles from his 2 technique, and Walls comes in with 28 total stops.
Shaw on 3rd down takes the snap, looking to throw it. He's going to throw it down the seam there. Boy, great catch by number 3, Mateo Howard, still on his feet. That was a one-handed grab on the sideline, really right down the seam. And a nice gain for the 1st down.
First down for the Raiders.
Well, watch this catch.
Just one-handed, right down the chute. He had the inside leverage and was able to just kind of tip it to himself. That's Mateo Howard's 21st catch of the year. And he had 4 grabs last week for 121 yards. It was a breakout game for him. He just kind of picked up where he left off.
Yes, he did. The handoff once again to Jaden Davis, and a short gain on that 1st down run.
41.
Well, but you mentioned Mateo Howard. You know, with that breakout game, it just kind of gives him confidence. And, you know, he went to Taurus Rucker before the game and said, Coach, this is my game. You watch. Give me the ball. Get it to me. I'll get the job done. And boy, he certainly did that. And that was that last catch that we just saw, one of the best catches I've seen all year.
Yep, I'm right there with you. 2nd down and 9. There's a snap. Shaw, 5-step drop. He's going to throw it down again. He's got a wide open Howard. That's going to be a touchdown, Raiders.
Mateo with the catch in the end zone. Touchdown.
Boy, nothing fancy that time. Once again, it just released down the seam. And Shaw finds him for the long touchdown reception.
And Shaw never did look off of it. You know, it was a blown coverage. Safety was not there. And they just let him get behind him. And Mateo Howard has come up with a couple of big plays here. And this North Garland team has responded like a champion.
They sure have, and the extra point up and good. As you take a look at Mateo Howard, 2 catches already in this game. Our score was 7:34 remaining in the 1st quarter. Sachse 7, North Garland 7. We'll be right back after these messages.
We are all connected to something bigger than ourselves. Change one thing, change everything. The things we do today have an extraordinary impact on a child's future. A better child, a better world. GISD has a ripple effect on our community. Every lesson can positively affect our future leaders. We are Garland ISD, impacting lives, changing futures. It's what we call the GISD effect.
So both offenses have had the possession one time. Both have scored on some impressive drives. Not real long drives, Scott, that have taken much time off the clock, but impressive for both teams.
Yeah, that was 76 yards in terms of the length of the drive, but it did not take long, as you mentioned, just 5 plays. And how about Mateo Howard? He had an 84-yard kickoff return for a touchdown to go along with the 4 grabs for over 100 yards last week. And he is having a breakout final 2 games of the regular season.
That deep kick taken around the 4-yard line. It's going to be returned out across the 25 to about the 27. So a 23-yard return right there for number 9 for the Mustangs, Kendrick Hanks. And that's where the Mustangs will set up shop for the 2nd time tonight. The game 7-7 after that long touchdown drive by the Raiders.
And Sachse, you know, they've had a problem this year with giving up some big plays, and Mark Barons was concerned about that coming in. And they knew that even without God's Power Nawahi, that this is still an explosive North Garland team. They know they can run the ball, but you just can't give that up in the passing game.
Well, that handoff goes to Haygood. He was sitting 5 yards deep in the backfield when he took the handoff, and there is going to be a penalty flag on the play. This is usually in the area of holding. It was a gain of about 6 yards for Haygood, but we will check the penalty.
I thought it was blocked really well, too. They just run a stretch play, a little outside zone play, and able to get him off tackle.
There is indeed your holding call. That will back the Mustangs up 10.
Holding indicated made against the offense. Ball is spotted at the 17, first down 20.
Not a good start to the drive right here by Sachse, but they have made their living on the offensive end. They average close to 30 a game.
Here you see another fake handoff. George's going to keep it around the left side once again. He had big yardage, and I tell you, he's going to get the penalty yardage back plus a couple of yards, and that's going to set up a 2nd down and 8 after the 12-yard gain by the quarterback.
Well, they really stretch out this Garland defense. It's the 2nd time they've run the RPO. It's a really nice read right there by George as the end ends up going inside, taking the running back. Nobody there for George. Outside backer has got to come down and fill at the point of attack. Just have not been able to do that so far.
Fakes a handoff on play action, throws a little pass out here to Jed Krill, and Jed Krill's going to turn upfield and pick up the 1st down. That's a nice gain after the catch there. That's about a 14-yard reception for Jed Krill. That's his 2nd catch of the game.
Boy, this is just terrific execution. It's the same play, same RPO. The end goes down again, and this time the quarterback, George, is able to throw on the move. It's a great pass to Krill. George is doing a nice job of leading his wide receivers tonight, letting them catch and run.
1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. We approach the midway point of the 1st quarter. 7-7 our score. The quick throw out to number 1. Boy, that's a nice run after the catch, and that's going to go down as a run as that looked to be a lateral, a backward pass on that play. So that will go as a run for number 1, Cortland Scott.
You watch Sachse, and I really like the focus and concentration that George and the offense is coming out with. Good block inside, and we end up seeing Cortland Scott make his living there catching and running again. He's done that a lot this year, almost 400 yards receiving coming into the ball game.
Boy, another handoff to Haygood. Look at this run as he cuts it outside, picks up some additional yardage, and he's going to be knocked down around the 29 of the Raiders. So, well, I tell you what, they overcame that 1st and 20 there to start the drive, and they've got another good drive going here.
They did, and North Garland is simply having a hard time getting off blocks, pressing and shedding and making plays at the line of scrimmage. And Sachse, they look focused, they look determined to get to the playoffs. They have come out and they look good, and I really like this timeout. In fact, Taurus Rucker, who's in his 1st year, had made mention that they've had a real good week of practice. And the one thing that he has learned this year as a 1st-year coach is how to manage timeouts. He was an associate head coach for 4 years before they named him as the head coach, and this is his 1st head coaching job. But, the one thing that he's learned is don't be afraid to use early timeouts, particularly in the 1st half of games, because sometimes you just have to reel kids in. We just made the observation that this North Garland defense is having a hard time getting off blocks and making plays. I mean, I don't care what you do from an X's and O's standpoint. This game always goes back to blocking and tackling and really getting off blocks to make those tackles. And a lot of it's effort, some of it's technique. But I don't think that North Garland had a hard time getting motivated for this ball game. One of the things that they kind of threw out to the team as sort of a bone is the fact that, hey, especially our juniors and seniors, this is a great game to get tape from to send off to universities to try to catch some scouts' eyes.
Quick throw out on the wide receiver screen as we return back to action. The catch is made by number 5, Kalik Lockett, his 1st catch of the game. Another 1st down, 16 yards on the reception.
It is, and you watch Cortland Scott. Scott did a great job running after the catch a moment ago, but that time Cortland Scott with a nice block on the edge. They're able to move the sticks here. Sachse's got it rolling right here offensively. It is very hard to stop the Mustangs right now.
Yeah, Raiders so far do not have an answer for this Mustang offense. There's a snap. George looking to throw it. He's going to throw it out. Boy, another nice route that time as you saw just that inside curl by the receiver. He just sits right there in between the linebacker and the safety and makes the catch for another 1st down. It's going to be 1st and goal Mustangs.
And they really like Quinn. He's young. He's got great potential. A sophomore, 6'2", 170. And when you watch him run that route, you see him make the curl. He sits down in that soft spot in the zone, as you were talking about. And, for a sophomore to locate that and turn around so quickly, they're well coached.
1st and goal. There's the fake handout. George keeps it himself, goes into the end zone for a touchdown. There is a penalty flag that came out late. We will check it. I think we may get an offside call here against the Raiders, however, but we will check it. That was a 4-yard touchdown run by George. And there you go. It was indeed an offside call against North Garland. That touchdown stands. So the Mustang offense, Scott, starts 2 for 2 here in the early going.
And, you know, you look at the execution. I just think Brendan George, who's a junior, has executed really well. I've seen them play 2 or 3 times this year, and this is as good as I've seen him to start a game.
Yep, I would agree with you wholeheartedly. The extra point is up. It is good. We've got 4:40 remaining in the first quarter here at Williams Stadium. Our score, the Sachse Mustangs 14, the North Garland Raiders 7. We'll be back after these messages on GRS TV. Take a look at number 18 for the Sachse Mustangs. That would be the quarterback, or pardon me, 16, Brendan George. And boy, another nice drive for the Mustangs there. And they are out to a 14-7 lead. And, you know, I thought really, Scott, coming into this game, it's maybe a low-scoring game, but right now it looks like a track meet. I'm
not sure the punters have made it to the game, actually. Are
they
suited?
Have not. High end over and kick going to be taken at the 14-yard line. And what nice job on special teams by the Mustangs kick team as they're going to make the tackle around the 21-yard line, and that's where the Raiders will start their second offensive possession of the game.
Raiders have got to settle down here and try to get some things going. You'd like to be able to, as you mentioned, string together a drive where you can keep the defense on the sideline a little bit. You know, this North Garland team's been out there a bunch defensively here in this first quarter.
Yes, they have. You know, the Mustangs offense, you know, so far on their drives, they've been picking up big chunks of yardage on every play. So you see the handoff to Jaden Davis, trying to get outside once again to the right off tackle, but another short gain. So the running game needs to get going here for the Raiders. They have not done much early on here in the first quarter.
No, but you know what they have done? Stay committed to the ground game. And you have to do that. Even though you're going up against arguably the best defensive front in the league, you have to stay committed to that ground game. And they've got so many different guys that can get it done. You saw Corey Walls down there.
Shaw takes a snap. He's going to pitch it quickly to Davis to the outside. And well, once again, not a whole lot there. Number 41 for the Mustangs makes the initial hit. It's Vashawn Brunswick. And well, I tell you what, they string that play to the sideline and no gain on it on that quick pitch to Davis.
Yeah, they like him. He's a pup, but you see he's already made 2 or 3 tackles already at the line of scrimmage. He came into the game with 6 tackles for a loss. That big sophomore right there, number 41, is a good one. 56 tackles, second on the team, only to Camden George, linebacker right next to him. And Brunswick, this defense, they're going to be good next year.
3rd down and 9. A penalty flag comes out. An illegal substitution here, looks like, by North Garland. May have had 12 in the huddle. That's going to back them up 5 more.
You know, I know it's disappointing for North Garland not to have made the postseason, but you know they've had some turbulence. They end up losing God's Power Nawahi, lost to Rowlett, lost to Wiley East, and then last week lost 50-27. That's 3 in a row.
Quick throw out to Howard, but he's got a long way to go to pick up the first down. He's going to get the penalty yardage back, and that's about all. Maybe 2 more yards after that, so a gain of about 7 on that reception. But it's going to be 4th and long, and the Raiders are looking to punt it away.
Yeah, and you see that D-line putting pressure there on Shaw, but Shaw able to get it out to the edge to Howard. I don't think he's targeted anybody else, has he?
He is not. Looked Howard's way three times. Howard's made 3 catches, that time not able to pick up the first down. And we've got our first punt of the game with 2:38 remaining in the first quarter.
You know, and Shaw wasn't bad against Namath. He was 8 of 19 for 236 yards. That's the most a quarterback has thrown for on the North Garland side this year.
Jet Krill picks it up on the bounce, and he's going to be dumped immediately by number 4 of the Raiders. A nice play made by DeCoris Taylor.
Yeah, and Taylor makes a good play right here. He's a wide receiver, also is a gunner on that punt team. But you watch that this is a really good return man. You let Jet Creel get 1 or 2 steps and get him accelerated, he can make you pay. That's a nice tackle on special teams there by DeCoris Taylor.
Mustangs will start 1st and 10 for the 35. And, you know, we talked about the Raider defense, you know, trying to stay off the field as long as possible. And the offense has a 3 and out here. So we'll see how that North Garland defense responds. They really need to stop here. I know we're still in the first quarter, but boy, I tell you, they have not been able to provide much resistance against this Mustang offense through their first 2 possessions.
Sachse team has at times had a tendency to start out slow, but Brendan George hasn't.
See the RPO there once again, and a nice gain by George as he keeps it around the left end for a gain of almost 6 more.
Yeah, the one thing you're noticing is they are starting to rack up some good yardage on first down. It really helps every offense, but particularly this Sachse offense. It's maybe a free play.
Yeah, it looks like a free play here. The offside should be called, and the penalty flag is out, and that should give the Mustangs an automatic first down. Get a nice throw there down the sideline. Good coverage that time by the Raiders, and the pass falls incomplete.
It's a good hard count, too, right there by George. Not just 1, but 2 defensive linemen jumping. You had the 3 technique and that 5 technique.
So the offside penalty is called against the Raiders. That will give the Mustangs an automatic first down. 1st and 10 Sachse.
I think playing fast for the Mustangs helps them.
There's a snap. George looking to throw it. A little bit of pressure. Now he's being flushed out. He sees his man. Makes the catch down the sideline. That's going to be a touchdown. Number 11, Grayson King.
If Brendan George has played a better game this year in the first quarter, I'd love to see it because he's making every good decision. He's executing in the run game. He's doing a great job on RPOs. There he's off balance and flips it out. I mean, that thing is right on the money to Grayson King. And King, a terrific athlete who just came on about 4 or 5 weeks ago. He's a senior, 6'1", 175. And he was able to turn on the Jets and get to that next level and find the end zone in a hurry.
Extra point is up, and it is good. So we've got 3 touchdowns by the Mustang offense here in the first quarter. Our score, Sachse 21, North Garland 7. We'll be back after these messages. We are back to live action here at Williams Stadium. There's a look at number 16, the quarterback for the Sachse Mustangs, Brendan George, having a great first quarter. And Scott, I'm going to echo exactly what you said. You know, again, George started out slow this year. If you take a look back at the stats for the first couple of games, you know, he was really struggling early on in the season. But I'll tell you what, he has really picked it up as the season's progressed, and I'm with you. This first quarter, he has been almost flawless.
Yeah, he's gotten better and better every week. Now, he stubbed his toe a little bit last week. Didn't play particularly well, but, boy, he's really started out nicely tonight.
Howard gets outside, breaks containment there, and gets out across the 25. He's going to be marked out of bounds around the 28, and that's where the Raiders offense will take over 1st and 10. Got 1:38 remaining here in the first quarter. The Mustangs now up by 14. Again, we saw the Raiders on their last offensive possession with a 3 and out. They need to keep the ball a lot longer than they did on that last possession. Of course, obviously need to pick up some points here, but Boy, first downs is really what their defense needs right now after surrendering 21 here in the first quarter. Hand off to Jaden Davis right up the middle. He's pushing forward. They're going to give him a gain of about 4 yards. So the first, nice carry by Jaden Davis. The Mustangs defense has really had him bottled up, Scott, but a 4-yard gain there on first down for the running back.
Anytime you can get 3 or 4 between the tackles on first down, it's an absolute win for the offense. Now, Davis last week, 97 yards on 21 carries against Naaman. They like the consistency that he brings with him. He's got 9 touchdowns this year, and he's run for over 1,400 yards.
Another handoff to Davis. This time to the left side. Going to gain about 2 more. It's going to set up 3rd down and 4.
But, we've mentioned in weeks past that he's kind of the E.F. Hutton on this team. Going back to the 80s, when he talks, people listen. And you like how he kind of runs behind his pads. But one of the things you're seeing there is we see Ivory Chester, that safety, come up to finish him off. One of the things you're seeing by Sachse is they are gang tackling tonight. They mean business. They have come out and looked as good as they've looked all season on offense. And defensively, they're getting after it to start. Got a chance to force back-to-back 3 and outs here.
3 and outs, exactly. 3rd down and 4. Here's a big 3rd down for the Raiders. See play action there. They're going to throw it outside, and that is out of the reach of Mateo Howard. That's going to set up another 4th down here for North Garland.
That's Chris Talley with just his 2nd quarterback hurry of the year. He came in with a couple of sacks, and he gets in the grill of Shaw immediately to make him release that ball a little bit sooner than he wanted. Tried to hit Mateo Howard on that cross a little bit high. Didn't finish the throw. Was a little bit worried about getting hit. And now North Garland has been forced to punt for the 2nd straight possession.
Yeah, 2 possessions with 3 and outs, as you mentioned, and Krill sitting back at his 30-yard line waiting to return this punt. Mustangs lead by 14 in the waning seconds of the first quarter.
Wow.
Boy, nice punt. Boy, what a great punt. It's going to take a bounce into the end zone.
It's only 65 yards.
Woo. Great punt that time, and unfortunately outkicked his coverage and rolls into the end zone for a touchback.
Well, when you kick it into the other zip code, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
He's got a big win in his bag, but hey, nice form right there. And on a night and on a day where the best punter in the history of football, Ray Guy, passed away, that is a terrific punt right there by North Garland. I mean, you get a left-footed punter like Lopez, and you've got a gem, you've got a weapon.
5 seconds remaining here in the first quarter, perhaps the final play of the first quarter. It's been a flawless game here for the Mustangs so far. They've got a new quarterback on the field. He's going to fake the handoff, keeping himself to the right side. Boy, a lot of running room out here. Cuts it back to the middle, and that is a gain of about 22 yards for number 9 of the Mustangs. That is Kendrick Hanks, and we have come to the end of 1 quarter of play here at Williams Stadium. Boy, a nice quarter for Sachse.
That may be their best of the year.
Absolutely. We'll be back after these messages. Our score, Sachse 21, North Garland 7.
We are all connected to something bigger than ourselves. Change one thing, change everything. The things we do today have an extraordinary impact on a child's future. A better child, a better world. GISD has a ripple effect on our community. Every lesson can positively affect our future leaders. We are Garland ISD, impacting lives, changing futures. It's what we call the GISD effect.
Back for the start of the second quarter. Boy, 28 points between the two teams in that first quarter. Sachse on top 21-7. Here's that final play of the first period. You see the RPO there, and look at the great run out here as a 27-yard gain for number 9, Kendrick Hanks. And once again, the Mustangs here driving. They're at their own 42 as we start the second. Hanks stays in the game at quarterback. Here's a snap. Boy, a busted play here as you saw the running back come one way and Quarterback goes the other way, but look at this. Boy, talk about making something out of nothing. Hanks with another big run. And again, just a busted play there, Scott. Watch this as you're going to see the running back take off one way and Hanks turn the other way to give him the handoff.
But when you're an athlete and there's not a defender in the picture, you can make something out of nothing. And again, North Garland's they've struggled tonight getting to the point of attack.
First down in North Garland territory. The ball at the 36-yard line.
Hanks, a guy that transferred in actually from Naaman.
O'Connor gets the call.
Hands it off to number 2, Pope O'Connor. That's his first carry of the game as he is now in for the Mustangs. And that's a gain of about 6 yards on first down.
The reason why he hasn't carried it is because he's kind of been banged up. He's had a nagging leg injury. And, you know, he's had this all year. But, you know, he can run straight ahead still. You know, if he doesn't have to make a whole bunch of moves behind the line of scrimmage, he's okay.
Second down 4 for the Mustangs. Here their opening drive of the second quarter.
O'Connor with the carry.
A gain of only about a yard on that play. So good job by the Raider defense on that one. So they're going to hold O'Connor to a short gain and set up a 3rd down and 4.
Still, he carried the ball only, what, 18 times, which doesn't sound like an enormous amount. It's still a good amount, 18 times as the starting running back against Wiley. Had 153 yards. He's really good. One of the top backs in the district. Had a touchdown. And that 100-yard game actually was the first 100-yard game that he had had in a few weeks since the ankle injury.
3rd down snap. Boy, Hanks is bouncing around. He's going to bounce it outside. And he's going to pick up the first down inside the 20 all the way down to the 18-yard line.
34 is doing out day for the defense.
Yeah, and it may be a battle next year between George and Hanks. Look at Hanks get to the outside. I mean, he made his mind up early. You know, you got to switch hands there with the football. But still, you know, you can see why Hanks really electrifies this offense. If they need a spark, they knew they could go to Hanks. And, you know, he's your number 2 quarterback here with Brendan George being the starter.
First down and 10 in the red zone for the Mustangs. They're at the 18-yard line. There's a snap handed off to O'Connor, cutting it outside to the left, down the sideline, steps out of bounds around the 12. So that's going to be a gain of about 6 yards on that first down run.
Watch number 76, this left tackle right on the edge. There he is. Good block initially, which allows O'Connor to get outside. As Sachse continues to pour it on here in this first half. Zach Moore, a real leader of the offensive line. He is 6'4", 285. He's a senior. Many feel like at least at some level he'll be playing on Saturdays. That big left tackle. Really like how they go in that old-fashioned I formation.
There's a snap. They're going to hand it off, of course, to the deep back in the eye. And O'Connor bowls over one man there, but I think they're going to call it a touchdown. So they say he got in before the knee was down. So that is a touchdown run for Pope O'Connor of 12 yards.
4 possessions, 4 touchdowns here. Watch 64 and 56 in the middle. Payne and Smith. I mean, it's just, you know, that's just simple zone blocking right there. Step over the board and run sort of thing that you see there with those linemen. They get a good push, and they do that duck walk all the way to the end zone.
Extra point attempt is up, and it is good by number 31 for the Mustangs, Alex Alvarado. Well, I tell you what, so far in the first half, it has been all Sachse. We've got 10-12 remaining until halftime. Our score, 28-7, Mustangs on top. As we are back, there's a look at Popacon, who just scored on a 12-yard touchdown run. It's been all Sachse here in this first half. And I'll tell you, we're just 2 minutes in the second quarter. Mustangs already have 28 points on the board and close to 300 yards of offense.
278 yards of offense. The ground game has been amazing. You've got two guys with almost 60 yards, and Brendan George and Kendrick Hanks. You two quarterbacks.
The quarterbacks, right.
Two quarterbacks with almost 60 yards of offense.
So
Man.
the kick bounce at the 4 and go out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. So the Raiders will start from the 25. And they've got to get something going offensively here, as they are down by 21 early in the second quarter.
Yeah, and obviously that loss to Rowlett a few games ago really hurt. It was a painful loss. They lost 2 leads in that game. You know, and had they come back and won that game, they'd be in it this week. You know, they would not already be out of it. This would be essentially a playoff game for North Garland.
Well, nice play here as they hand it off to number 4. Then he takes a big shot. Gets knocked out of bounds, but boy, nice play that time and a nice run by number 4, DeCoris Taylor. We mentioned him earlier on special teams. Watch the handoff here.
Well, you watch that handoff. It's just a fly sweep getting to the edge, and I like, you know, you want to keep your head up right there. But that's a nice play there by Sachse, and you know, Jacob Dillard, 6 feet, junior, 6 feet 165, defensive back, getting some time tonight.
And Dillard came across with the big hit there on DeCoris Taylor, but a nice play there for the Raiders, and they're out close to midfield. There's the direct snap there, and the run right up the middle. That's a gain of about 4 more on first down. That, of course, the quarterback number 14 for the Raiders, Cameron Shaw, who took over, like you mentioned, a couple weeks ago after the injury to the starter, Nawahe.
Yeah. You know, he's kind of a jack of all trades. Cameron Shaw, 5'10", 210, doesn't look like much, but yeah, he's got some tenacity. He's not scared back there. This is a guy that's been a backup for a while. It was 8 of 19 for 236 yards against Naaman, and was good. You know, he played well against Naaman. And he had a really good week of practice this week. They were very excited to see what he could do coming in. Shaw, 3 of 4 tonight, 81 yards already. He's got a touchdown. He has continued to grow in the absence of Nawahi.
There's the handoff, boy, hit immediately in the backfield is Jaden Davis. Once again, big number 41 for the Mustangs. You've already talked about him a couple times tonight here, Scott, and that is Vashon Brunswick. Well, just hits him in the backfield, drops him for a loss of a yard.
Yeah, he is a playmaker. This guy, Brunswick, he will get to the line of scrimmage and do it in a hurry. You combine his play with the inside tackles of Counts, Walls, and some T.J. Jackson. This is a tough defense in the middle. You know, and great defenses are built with strong players in the middle. Not just the Mike linebacker, but those tackles are so important. They're not afraid to blitz.
Shaw in some trouble. He escapes the tackler, would-be tackler. Gets hit, but not until he picks up a first down. Another big hit by Dillard that time. This time on the quarterback, but Shaw gets just enough for the first down. That's a gain of 8.
Yeah, really like Dillard. They bring the blitz off the edge, and a good job, a good read by Shaw to bring it down in a hurry to step up and then make some move. Nice footwork there to pick up the first down. Not afraid to take the hit. Like Sachse's defense, you know, if they can find a way to win tonight, if Garland ends up losing, Sachse's got a chance to make some noise there. You know, not a team in this district won a first-round playoff game. I would not count Sachse out. They're going for that 4th playoff spot.
There's a throw into double coverage. That is a tough throw that you typically don't want to make. He was looking for number 1, Javius Green that time, and boy, luckily that thing wasn't picked off.
You know, I've got to believe that the efficiency and the proficiency of the offense has sort of ignited this defense. They're playing with an edge down there. Good job by the safety getting over. And, you know, he got in perfect position. A little contact, but that's a good no call by the official. Wasn't even close to pass interference. And this Sachse team, they're starting to come together, and maybe just at the right time.
Second down and 10 for the Raiders. Snap to Shaw, straight drop back. This time he's going to throw it deep once again. This time no double coverage, but passes out of bounds and incomplete. He was looking once again for number 1, Javius Green. Well, good coverage out there by number 23 of the Mustangs, Kyler Lacey.
Yeah, that's Kyler Lacey, who came in with 23 tackles. That's his third breakup of the year. That's good technique. Didn't try to pick that ball off.
We are going to have a personal foul roughing the passer call, however. I did not see the flag, Scott, as we were watching that pass downfield. But again, the penalty call against the Mustangs, that'll give North Garland an automatic first down.
Yeah, North Garland needs something to kind of get them going. Let's look at this again. Look at the pocket. Maybe they hit him up high. I didn't see a lot there.
I didn't either.
You know, a lot of these high school officials watch football on Saturday and Sunday, and they're really trying to protect the quarterbacks at that level.
Well, Shaw tries to get upfield that time, but the pocket collapses, and a sack that time for the Mustangs.
Creasy and Simpson.
Well, two Mustang players on that tackle. Number 90, Travis Simpson, one of those players. You're going to see it right here. Shaw steps up, and there comes the two Mustang defenders. I believe the other one was at number 95.
Yeah, that's Cooper Creasy there. That's a big sack for Cooper. How about a backup end coming into the game with 2 sacks and 14 stops and 6 hurries? Your backup end. You don't think this is a season line? Creasy won't be back, but he can play end, he can play tackle.
Shaw keeps it himself, and he takes a big hit up the middle. Well, a gain of only 2. It's going to set up 3rd down and long. But again, Saxon did a good job to stay at home that time and not, fall for that, runner coming across.
Yeah, and you're going to look at Walls right there. He came in with 3 sacks himself. This defensive line is really good. You don't get these guys blocked, you're going to have a problem. These guys like Shaw, they're going to need an ice bath after this ball game's over. They're taking some hits. But listen to these numbers up front. How about Amicio Feely's got 5 sacks? Creasy's got 2. Boy, there's Brunswick again.
Yeah, Brunswick with a great play. Able to get his hand on the ball. Pass falls incomplete. 4th down 11. The Raiders going to keep the offense on here, you would suspect. There's the throw. Boy, Brunswick just in the right place. So does exactly what the linebacker's supposed to do. Drops back into coverage and is able to make that play.
Now, North Garland, whenever they get on the plus side of the 50-yard line, they hardly ever punt. That is what Taurus Rucker has been known for. Remember, he played for Spike Dykes over in Lubbock at Texas Tech. Spike liked to do this too. Now, Spike had a top 5 defense, but Rucker's taking after him.
Boy, they're going to hand it off on 4th down and 11, and Jaden Davis is not going to be anywhere near the first down. Second effort got him fairly close, but again, he needed 11 yards. Kind of surprising that they handed the ball off up the middle.
Yeah, they were a little bit soft in the middle. They went ahead and handed that football off, ran the option. It's a good read, but again, it's tough to run in the middle against any defense, particularly this Sachse defense. I'm a little surprised he got as close as he got.
Yeah, I am too. That second effort got him a little closer. He was still 2 yards short. And a turnover on downs here to the Mustangs as the Mustang defense is held.
But Taurus Rucker, he's not afraid to go for it. He is going to line up, and if he's on the plus side of the 50-yard line.
George back in the game, throws it. Catch made by number 4. They're down the sideline. That's, Santana Quinn. That's his first catch of the game.
34 on the defense.
It's a nice job right there. You see throw on the run by George, and just puts it right where it's supposed to be. You give that kind of cushion, you're going to have a problem, and they do. You can't give 5 or 6 yards of cushion. They've got athletes on the edge.
George rolls out, throws it down, and boy, another great throw that time. He finds his receiver, number 10. That's Austin Phillips, and a big gain on the play.
24 yards on that pass play. Watch George. Watch him throw on the run. I love how he gets his shoulder square that time to the line of scrimmage and is able to flip that thing out on a cross. Nice job by Phillips using the stiff arm. Austin, the senior, 6'3", 215, really physical, making his 9th grab of the year. But I love George's capability of throwing on the run. I've not seen him throw better than he has tonight.
There's a snap. George looking to throw it again. Here comes a little bit of pressure, trying to get outside. He escapes to the left. He's going to pick up big yardage, pushed out of bounds around the 31, but that's a gain of 7 more.
I got to tell you, I am impressed with this guy, Brendan George. He's made great decisions. He's thrown on the run. He's got great speed when he takes off. He's not scared of the pocket, steps up at the right time. He's smart. Nice stiff arm. He's just a junior. He's going to be back. This guy, he continues to grow like this. He will most assuredly be playing on Saturday.
Snap to George. This time the handoff. Boy, nice run outside. Big hole. Cuts it back in. And down at around the 11-yard line. That is number 22. That's Khalise Harris. And that's his first carry of the game.
Penalty flag came out. Major Heiser just kept blocking, just kept staying on that block. And I liked how he did that. We'll see who this flag's going to be thrown on here. But they run a power right in the middle. That play's actually not supposed to bounce. It's supposed to hit off the B gap. But they went ahead and bounced that thing because North Garland's been soft.
So there is your holding call.
I think it was on 25 right there. I couldn't tell, but watch Heiser, number 50, coming around that pulling guard. Watch him stay on this block right here, number 50. Just stays on there, keeps blocking, keeps blocking. That's great technique right there. Got to know when to let go, and he did. That's a nice run off the left side. And again, that's supposed to go off the B gap, not supposed to go to the sideline.
Hand off and another carry. Boy, still on his feet. Look at him, still with those legs going. I think he's going to pick up the first down. That is going to be a gain of 4 yards, and that will move the chains. Once again, number 22 on the carry, Harris.
Like watching Harris. It's the first time that they have actually run counter action and run a counter. They've been running RPO to the backside of that every time, but they pull. It's an old GT counter where they pull the backside guard and tackle play side. First time they've run it and looked good doing it. Like the timing tonight by the Sachse offense. They had a good week of practice too.
Inside of 5 minutes to go in the half. There's a quick throw, wide receiver screen. Boy, look at the running room out here by number 88. Before number 88, I should say. That is Fabian Ibarra on his first catch of the game.
Well, they set up the screen nicely. The line doesn't recognize it. And a nice job getting it and running that screen. They've run just about everything they want to against this North Garland team, to the dismay, I'm sure, of every Garland Owl fan out there.
There's a snap. George looking to throw. They're going to run the wide receiver screen to the other side, and this is going to go for 6. Catch made by number 14, or Robbie Rothrock, and boy, 6 more for the Mustangs. They're making it look easy on offense here in the first half.
Boy, anything they want to do, they're doing it tonight. It looks like a North Garland team that knows it's not going to make the playoffs. They're just well, nice job by Rothrock to make that catch on the tunnel screen. That's just his 3rd grab of the year. He goes over and shakes the hands of some fans there. But this Mustang team, as you mentioned, definitely making it look easy. They have not been stopped tonight.
Extra point up and good. So the perfect night continues for the Mustangs. We've got 3:56 remaining in the half with our score. The Sachse Mustangs 35, the North Garland Raiders 7. We'll be back after these messages.
The Garland ISD Education Foundation provides resources to support and enrich education for all students in the Garland Independent School District. Every dollar donated helps fund innovative teaching and learning initiatives. Choose today to impact a better tomorrow. For more information and to learn how you can give, visit GISDEdFoundation.org.
Look at the Sachse crowd as we are back at Williams Stadium. You know, this game was supposed to be played tomorrow night, but there is the threat of inclement weather coming in, and so this game was moved to tonight instead. And boy, the Sachse fans, they have packed out their side of the house over there, and they have seen a great showing so far in the first half.
I'm just glad that guys like Gordon Wood and Homer Johnson and all the old timers are not around to see teams reschedule games because there might be a rain shower coming up on Friday night.
Exactly.
You know it? What would they say about that?
I don't think they'd like it at all. They probably wouldn't even entertain the thought.
No, they wouldn't.
High, deep kick is going to bounce about 3 yards in the end zone. That's going to be a touchback, and the Raiders will start once again from the 25. So, again, just to quickly set the stage, we've got right at the 4 minutes remaining here in the half. Sachse up by 28. North Garland, if they've got any desire to get back in this game, they've got to get points on the board here before half.
Yeah, and really this is almost become, I don't want to say like practice for Sachse, but they're just running all their stuff, getting seasoned. They hope that they get a win tonight, and they hope that the Owls of Garland lose tomorrow night. That would put Sachse in if that happens. And you know, they decided to go ahead and move this game about 4 or 5 days ago. The coaches got together and said, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and move it because we don't want to mess with the rain. Now Garland, on the other hand, they might have wanted to play on Friday night in the rain. That may help them.
May help them quite a bit. Here we go on first down. Boy, Shaw takes a big hit, but is able to get a nice throw out to the tight end. That's number 15 for the Raiders, Jonathan Dang, and that's going to be a catch. There is a penalty flag sitting at around the 34. However, we will check it, but that was a gain of 9. Boy, Shaw took a big hit right when he released that ball.
He did, and you know, he's tough though. 5'10", 210-pound junior. I love his tenacity. And, you know, he's a nice option when God's Power Nawahi is not available. And remember, hey, God's Power is just a junior. He's coming back next year. Yeah,
this team, we saw him, of course, last year had, you know, a heavy sophomore squad. Watch this hit coming up here to Shaw as he releases the ball right there.
It's a little toss over the middle. Nice job, nice read there by Shaw. Jonathan Dang. Dang made his first catch of the year against Naaman. Actually, last week it was a 13-yard connection. Good to see him incorporate some of the tight ends. You like to see some of those drag routes being utilized as kind of a check down.
That penalty called against the Mustangs, so the Raiders do have a first down at the 44. They're going to go back to the ground game here, and boy, really what we've seen this whole first half, nothing much for Jaden Davis and no gain on the play.
Yeah, and I'll tell you who I don't want to be right now, and that's John Tatum. John Tatum is the offensive coordinator for North Garland, and when you can't get a simple inside zone play block, when they get 3 or 4 guys breaking into the backfield, the offensive backfield, getting penetration, let me tell you something, it is not fun to call plays. They're not able to get anybody blocked right now.
Been a tough first half after, you know, that opening possession for the Raiders. They drove right down and scored, and well, we thought this is going to be a really good game at 7-7, but really since then North Garland's offense has really sputtered. Here's a nice handoff to DeCoris Taylor, however, and he's going to get another big gain down to around the 31-yard line. That's a gain of about 31.
They've been running a lot of fly sweep, a lot of flip passing action. When that outside backer runs upfield too far, it's easy to break that. They just open up a big hole. It's like a defensive end that runs straight upfield. It just opens up a gaping hole. And, you know, when that happens, if you don't control your gap, you're going to break off a big one.
Yeah, give him 21 on the carry, not 31. 21 yards, 1st and 10 for the Raiders at the Mustang 31. Another handoff to Davis, another no gain on the play. Well, I tell you what, one of the leading rushers of the area, Jaden Davis, he is having a rough go of it tonight.
Yeah, he is. And Jaden Davis, a guy that averages 6 yards per carry, you know, he's not getting a lot of help up front. That will obviously keep his numbers tamped down.
Yeah, right now, Scott, you've got him with 11 carries. He's got 11 carries, 17 yards, so he's averaging about 1.6 yards per carry here tonight.
And this North Garland team getting doubled up on the offensive end, 382 for Sachse in total yards, just 166. But I like how North Garland just continues to pound away. They know they have to be able to run the football. Maybe try to wear counts out. Corey Walls, Chetta Ofili, wear some of these guys out. So maybe in the second half it might pay off. Good blocking though that time up front. I thought the right tackle did a really nice job right there, Nathan Payne.
Yeah, they came back with the same play to Davis once again. This time, as you said, a little bit better on the ground. A gain of 5 sets up a 3rd down and 5. Of course, this is going to be 2-down territory for the Raiders. So 2 plays here to get 5. You see the straight drop back to the throw. He's got a man out there. Catch is made. That is going to be a touchdown, Raiders.
And guess who? Mateo Howard again.
Boy, great throw that time. They were just looking for that fade in the back of the end zone.
A nice toss right there by Shaw. No question his best throw of the night. Just kind of hung that thing up there and dropped it right in the bucket. And Mateo Howard continues to impress. The 5'10 junior. He is nice. 170 pounds.
Boy, that was a low kick, but it does just get over the upright there, and extra point is good. So you take a look at Mateo Howard. Why don't we just keep it here? And, you know, probably the only bad thing for the Raiders on that drive is they left the Mustangs with 121 here with all 3 timeouts. So the Mustangs have a chance to score. But, getting back to the Raiders, that was a really good drive for them. They had to have it there, and they got it.
Well, they did. It's good to see them show some life there. And Mateo Howard showing what he can do. Big number 3 right there in the middle of your screen. A guy that also kind of doubles as the backup quarterback. He's really versatile, smart kid. Continues to get better. He returned that kick for an 84-yard touchdown last week against Naaman. And you take a look at him, Green, and Davis that we had talked about, Jaden Davis. And, these guys can take it to the house at any point. They've got that kind of athleticism.
Memory serves me, last year we talked about the Raiders, really a heavy sophomore squad. I believe they had 16 sophomores that started a year ago. And again, those players now juniors, as you mentioned. So they've got a lot returning. Again, they have really had an up and down year. We talked about a little bit, Scott, in the break. They've really been in every one of their district games this year. And, some they've come out on top, some they've lost. And here comes the kick. Look here. One man to beat. Boy, and he slows him up just enough to get the reinforcements to make the tackle. But Sachse's going to be at the North Garland 43 with all 3 timeouts and 1:12 remaining.
And I thought for a moment, when that ball hit the ground, it might take a weird hop and it might turn into a disaster, but it was anything but there for Sachse. The Mustangs getting a really nice return and able to set them up. And I didn't know if they were just trying to run the clock out or what, but they've got a chance here to put some more points on the board. They have not been stopped yet tonight.
Yeah, Dane Norberg with that return, and a good one at that. And we've got our timeout called here. I believe the Raiders called that one. That's going to leave them with 1 remaining here in the first half. We'll take a break with them. 1:12 left in the first half. Our score, Sachse 35, North Garland 14.
The following is a
Back to live action. 1:12 remaining in the second quarter. That timeout by the Raiders gives them 1 remaining here in the half. But again, Mustangs at the North Garland 43 to start this drive. George with the throw out. Another catch made outside. That is number 5, Kalik Lockett, and he's going to pick up about 9 on that first down reception.
Yeah, and Lockett took a hit out of bounds. I'm a little bit surprised those two kind of jawing here, but a nice job again. And you get a chance to see George flip it out to the flat. He's hit his first 11 passes tonight, and they've got a chance to score. I don't even know that time's even a consideration here. They've got plenty of time to score.
Yeah, another timeout called. This time I believe the Mustangs called it. Well, Coach Behrens is yapping at the officials, too. I think he's talking about what you said exactly. Why was there not a flag thrown on that play?
Yeah, but as I kind of looked at it, he was a little off balance. I think it was a good no call. But I'm sure from Coach Behrens' perspective, maybe he thought it should have been thrown. One of the things, too, for Coach Behrens against this North Garland team, they wanted to control the ball. Give George some time. Pass protection at times for the Sachse team this year been a little bit of an issue. Certainly not tonight.
Yeah, not tonight.
George has looked great, and they've moved him out of the pocket. I'm shocked at how good he has thrown on the move without his feet being set. He's 11 of 11, I do believe, to start.
That is correct. 11 of 11 right now for 196 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's going to roll to his left this time, throw it. He's going to start 12 of 12. Is that catch made? Boy, nice run after the catch as well before he shoved out of bounds. That is Santana Quinn, his second catch, and a first down reception.
They're hitting some different targets, too, tonight. You see them roll. They blitz both backers. Decent protection, and they roll away from the blitz. Nice move by Quinn inside and a stiff arm to get outside the numbers and took a shove into the band there. Did they call it?
Yeah, there's a penalty flag, but it's in the middle of the field.
Okay.
So I don't think they're going to get that shove. It's going to be something on the interior side. The Mustangs are walking backwards. They may have got a holding call here against Sachse.
Unsportsmanlike.
It was unsportsmanlike.
Somebody might have said something.
Yep.
Unsportsmanlike.
Boy, that's unfortunate. You know, Coach Behrens doesn't have a whole lot to be upset about, but that's a mental mishap right there.
Yes, it is.
Going into score, your opponent, they're out of the playoffs. They're not really playing with that edge that you usually see them play with. It's a 3-touchdown game. You're trying to extend the lead back, and then somebody does something like that.
3-step drop. George throws it. Look at this. Another touchdown. This time, number 14, Robbie Rothrock, his second of the game. George still perfect on the night.
And that was an absolute bullet. Nice move up the seam. Boy, looked off the safety, and somehow for the second time they're able to get Rothrock behind the defense, and Sachse has 41 points for the half. This Sachse team has come into the game averaging 29 points a game, giving up almost 40, and that's one of the reasons why they've only been able to win 3 games this year. They give up too many points, but they are scoring a district season's worth, it seems like, here in this first half.
Yes, they are. We'll keep it here. The extra point is up and good. Our new score, the Mustangs 42, Raiders 14. And I tell you, if there was any question that the Mustangs weren't ready for tonight's game, I think we've seen the answer to that, as they are looking to get that big win that they need in order to stay alive in the playoff chase. And like you said, really remarkable, Scott. You know, they've only got those 3 wins on the season. A win tonight gets them to 4, but most importantly, it would put them at 4-4 on the season, and they are still alive, as we mentioned, for the playoffs.
They would need some help. Would need a Garland loss tomorrow should they win tonight. But, you know, they struggled to score against Wiley, got beat 19-17 last week. And they've put up a lot of points this year. They put up 48 against Rowlett and beating them 48-41. Beat Garland 48-29 earlier this year. That's the most points they've scored in a game, in any game this year. And they're 6 points away, and we're not even at halftime yet.
Not even at half. And yeah, that Garland game was really the game that got them, you know, kind of back on track.
Yeah.
And that was a close game. You know, it was 27-23 going to the fourth quarter. Sachse on top, and of course they scored 21 in that fourth quarter to kind of put that game away. That was the win that they needed to really get them, you know, still in this playoff hunt, because again, they hold that tiebreaker against Garland, which could loom huge.
And Behrens really felt like they've kind of been like the Detroit Lions and losing a lot of close games.
Return's going to come out across the 20 to the 21 for the Raiders. Only 26 seconds and 1 timeout. We'll see what the offense elects to do here for North Garland.
Well, 42-14, the problem that North Garland has had and been able to trying to stop this Sachse offense. They just can't do it. But Brendan George has come out and he has been terrific. Just, I mean, not even just the numbers. He hasn't missed on a pass in this first half, but it's been the game management. It's been the leadership. It's been getting the guys lined up and executing. George has been phenomenal tonight at quarterback for Sachse.
Yeah, I'll say, and after this first down throw is going to be completed outside, that is number 1 for the Raiders, Javius Green. You know, just to belabor the point, what you're talking about, so George in that first half, right now, Scott, 13 of 13 for 245 yards and 3 touchdowns. But hold on, not done. Rushing, he's got 5 carries, 64 yards and a touchdown. So George has accounted for 4 touchdowns, obviously, in this game. But even more importantly, total offense, he is at 309.
It's been fantastic, and it started with the decision-making on some of these RPOs. They ran a lot of counter stuff and ran RPO on the backside. And, I mean, the decisions were the right ones and on time.
Shaw hit as he throws, and that ball just sails out of bounds and incomplete.
Ball's incomplete, second down.
So second down and 10 coming up here for Shaw. 14 seconds remaining in the first half. And yeah, George, what a great first half for him. 309 yards, as I mentioned, of offense.
And you see his counterpart right there, Cameron Shaw. But this is an opportunity for him to kind of showcase what he can do. And, you know, he's got a tough job. He's got to be a coach on the field right now and rally his troops.
There's a handoff to Davis. It's going to be his best run of the first half. He's going to get out to the 39-yard line. That is a gain of 7 yards, and that should do it here for the first half. And there is the horn. So a big first half for the Mustangs on offense. They are cruising into halftime with the lead. Our score, Sachse 42, North Garland 14. We'll be back after these messages on GRS TV. Stadium for the start of the third quarter. Our halftime score, the Sachse Mustangs 42, the North Garland Raiders 14. Scott, we saw a lot of offense in that first half, especially by the Mustangs. And let's take a look at the first half highlights. See both teams coming out to start the game. Beautiful night here at Williams Stadium, the final regular season game of the year. Of course, playoff implications as we started. You can see both teams excited as we got play set to go. And here we go. There's our first handoff and our first touchdown of the game. They got the Mustangs on the board. But then the Raiders came right back, Scott. A nice throw to Mateo Howard here. And that tied our score at 7.
He's been such a superstar the last couple of weeks and really has been focused the last 14 days.
Well, I tell you what, though, it was short-lived, that tie game, as you saw Brendan George there score to make it 14-7. Then after a 3-and-out, Mustangs back. There's the throw out, and boy, watch this, just outruns the corner there. That was number 11, Grayson King, and you saw the Mustangs starting to widen the lead.
Widen the lead, doing it with some athletes on the edge. Sachse has made a living on that tonight.
Popacana here with a nice 12-yard touchdown run, and that put the Mustangs up 28-7 at the time. And then Brendan George, a couple of touchdown passes. Here's the first one to number 14, Robbie Rothrock. He would connect with him again later, but not before the Raiders scored their second touchdown of the first half. Mateo Howard with his second of the game.
And Mateo again has done it in the kicking game. He's done it with his hands and with his legs.
And with just about a minute to go in the first half, Rothrock, his second touchdown of that first half.
Great route and a great throw right there by George. Put it on a line and right where it needed to be. He's made some terrific throws tonight and doing it consistently.
Yeah, consistent for George. It's exactly what the Mustangs needed. We've talked about it. We'll talk a little bit more in the second half as we go along about, again, the playoff chase and the district standings. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But again, Sachse set themselves up. You know, they had to have the win tonight to stay in playoff contention. They've done just that if they can hold off the Raiders for another 24 minutes. Mustangs set to kick it away, and we are off. The high kick is going to sail into the end zone, so the Raiders are going to start at their own 25-yard line with the touchback.
North Garland tonight has not had favorable field position. They have not begun a drive outside their own 29-yard line yet tonight. They've had a long field every time they've had it. They've had a hard time running the ball between the tackles. And when you can't do that, it makes everything else a little bit harder to execute.
Yeah, it definitely does. And we'll talk about some of the stats here in a minute. You know, 215 yards of total offense for the Raiders in the first half. You know, it sounds pretty good, Scott, but of course, when you look at the Mustang offense and what they did, you know, they doubled up the Raiders there offensively in the first half. And boy, it's just hard to kind of keep, you know, pace with the Mustangs the way they're playing. What play action there. Here comes the throw into coverage. Boy, trying to come back for the reception there was Mateo Howard, but the pass is incomplete. Good coverage out there by the Mustangs. Number 0, Ivory Chester.
Kind of a double move that time, throwing it to the post, but just not enough on that football. And that ball is being thrown off his back foot into the wind. So just couldn't quite put enough on it. And a good Chester, Ivory Chester, who started this game at that safety position, doing a good job, his second breakup of the year.
Yeah, for the Raiders in that first half. They had 9 first downs, Scott, 215 total yards, 127 through the air, 88 on the ground. 2 penalties for 10 yards, so pretty clean first half for the Raiders. Boy, they try to run outside, and that wound up not looking good as they're going to lose yardage on the play. A big hit by number 44 of the Mustangs, Camden George.
Yeah, Camden George, a 5'11", 205-pound senior coming right there off the edge. And he got cleaned up, though, by the corner. That's a cornerback in C.J. Wells, who had 33 tackles coming in. Their best cornerback, 8 breakups, but he's a hard hitter, too. You know, he played in 4 or 5 games last year on the varsity as a freshman. He's just a sophomore.
Right. He's going to be a good player for years to come for the Mustangs. Here we go, 3rd down and long, rolling out. Throw made, the catch is made, but stepping out of bounds before picking up the first down is the receiver number 1, Javius Green. And I'll tell you, Scott, it's one of those plays with this 4th and short. You know, your last game of the ball club or the balls, you know, the season. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they go for it here.
Really like watching great coaching, and that's a nice play call, rolling out the quarterback, Shaw, away from that blitz and away from that edge. It's been really active tonight. And, you know, they didn't pick up the first down, but it does set up a 4th down and short, and they will keep the offense out there.
Yeah, what do you got to lose in this one? You're down by 28, of course. You're on your side of the 50. But again, not much to lose here, although the penalty flag comes out. We're going to get a delay of game, so let's see if that changes perspective here for the Raiders.
The left guard might have flinched as well. Trying to decide, are we going to call that a delay or is that a movement? What are we going to do?
Yeah, you're right. They got him for the procedure. The play clock was at 0, but they did call the procedure. And with that 5-yard penalty, the Raiders are going to send the punt unit on the field. Pretty easy decision there, I think, for Coach Rucker there after the 5-yard marked off.
It's an easy decision, but not an easy punt coming up against the wind. And with the wind, we've already seen a 65-yarder.
Number 1, Cortland Scott stands at his own 40 to return this one. It's going to bounce close to midfield, take a Raider bounce before it's finally down at around the 44. But once again, Sachse's going to have great field position here to start the 3rd quarter.
Just a 27-yard punt, not terrible against the wind. But boy, this Sachse ball club coming out tonight needed a win to get in the postseason. 440 first-half yards. Brendan George, after about 4 or 5 throws, you could tell he was locked in. 3 touchdown passes, but 13 of 13. He's at 100% right now. And I've never seen him look better than what we've seen out of him tonight. He's been good.
Yeah, he may get the rest of the night off as the quarterback in the game for the Mustangs. Number 3, Victor Jesus Gutierrez, and his throw is completed outside and a gain of about 7 yards. A good throw by him and a catch by number 13 of the Mustangs. That's Jaden Cunningham.
And Jaden Cunningham, just his 3rd catch of the year. Good job by Haga, that little relationship there with the quarterback, staying out there in pass protection. But yeah, Victor Jesus Gutierrez is the number 2, 6'1" senior, 180 pounds. That's his 20th attempt of the year. He's 13 of 20 now this year. That's not bad.
There's that pass out to a number 1, Cortland Scott once again, and was right down the line there. So I think that will go as a pass, and another completion by the Mustangs, and they've been darn near perfect here in the game through the air.
They've got some guys that can run after the catch. You've got Scott and Lockett and Jet Creel. We've seen Kendrick Hanks a couple of times tonight.
Gutierrez, there's Jet Creel right down the seam. That's going to be a touchdown, Mustangs. Boy, and again, you know, we keep talking about it, but they are a perfect between the quarterbacks for the Mustangs. As you see it right here, they are 16 of 16 in the ball game.
And just a seam route to Jet Creel. That's about the 3rd time that they have failed to cover that route. You know, the safety's got to come over. He didn't see it. The linebacker did not stay with him. And so Sachse ends up posting another easy score.
Yeah, with this extra point up and good, the most points the Mustangs have scored in a game this year. They are sitting now at 49. Boy, Jet Creel right there, the receiver on the end of that touchdown throw from Gutierrez. And our new score, the Sachse Mustangs 49, the North Garland Raiders 14. We'll be back after these messages.
The Garland ISD Education Foundation provides resources to support and enrich education for all students in the Garland Independent School District. Every dollar donated helps fund innovative teaching and learning initiatives. Choose today to impact a better tomorrow. For more information and to learn how you can give, visit gisdedfoundation.org.
(49-14) Mustangs on top of the Raiders. Here's a look at that last play, and Gutierrez looks to the right, then throws it back to the left. And as you said, just an easy route there for Jack Krill right down the seam, and the safety did not get over. That's an easy touchdown for the Mustangs.
I really liked how Gutierrez, with that wide base, stepped into that throw. 6'1", 180-pound senior. Great balance right there by that backup quarterback, and made a nice toss. And some of these wide receivers have been uncovered tonight, making business a little bit easier.
Deep kick is going to be taken. Boy, this one, they're going to try to return out of the end zone. Boy, not a good decision by the Raiders as he's going to get out. The ball may have come loose as well. I've not seen a call yet that he was down. Now I see the officials nodding, so they are going to mark him down. But, only getting back out to the 17-yard line are the Raiders. So, boy, that was surprising that they returned it that time out of their own end zone.
Coach Mark Barons, who again has been with this program for almost 20 years, did not want to give up any big plays. But it's been Sachse that has been producing big plays. Almost half of their plays tonight have been double digits. They've been going to the air and doing it often. It started with a 37-yard run by George on that RPO first drive of the game. And then on the second drive, you had the ball snapped 5 times. And 4 of those were plays of over 10 yards.
Shaw with the handoff to Jaden Davis to the left side. Pretty good run that time. A gain of only about 3, but going to continue to go to the ground game here, and they trail big in this game, 49-14. The Mustangs 4 yards short of 500 yards of offense, and we're only 3 minutes into the third quarter.
We are, and you see Sachse, they like to run that even front with four men down there. North Garland had not been doing that, but they've kind of morphed into that kind of defense this year. It's no secret that they have, and it's because of this offensive set that you see right here. A lot of teams in this district going to at least a single tight end or double tight end set.
Boy, double clutch that time, and boy, a little high on the throw as he had to kind of double pump it there. He's looking for Mateo Howard, but the pass falls incomplete. He threw that one into triple coverage.
I thought C.J. Wells was going to get his first pick. Ball was thrown high. Wells was there. And, man, he wanted it, too.
He did.
Boy, C.J. Wells, that cornerback, we mentioned he played in 4 or 5 games as a freshman last year on the varsity, always vocal. He started last year. He's a converted wide receiver. Had 33 tackles. You don't usually like your cornerbacks to have that many tackles, but when you're as physical as he is, and he loves to come up and hit somebody, most cornerbacks not only don't like to hit, but they can't tackle.
Right. 3rd down and long. There's the throw out. Catch is made. That should be enough for the first down. It is across the 35. Once again, number 1, Javius Green with the catch. Green, the sophomores, made a couple of big catches tonight for the Raiders.
Nice job by Javius Green, that young sophomore. Give him a little bit of cushion out there on the edge. See Kyler Lacey, who had 17 tackles himself, kind of catching him there. Didn't really come up and wrap him up and run his feet. He was just kind of waiting on the wide receiver to get there. Nice play by North Garland. They're able to move the sticks.
1st and 10 Raiders at their own 36-yard line. Snap to Shaw. He's got to throw it out quickly.
Ooh.
Hits Davis in stride, but way to come up by the corner out there to make the tackle, and that was exactly.
That's what he might have jarred his spine right there. He's got to come out of the ball game. He likes to come up and hit. He may need to have a seat right there. Maybe a little bit of a stinger, but watch Wells come up and make that hit.
Well, great throw that time as he led Jaden Davis, but
just came up and got him right with the shoulder. And, it didn't quite square him up, and he'll have to sit out for a play or two. Good hit, though, for a loss. That's a great TFL
Yes,
for Wells. That's his 4th tackle for a loss. He's a cornerback. That's a lot.
That is a lot, no doubt. Loss of 2 on the play, 2nd down and 12. Handoff to Davis. Off left tackle. And what keeps those legs moving, pushes the pile forward for a couple of more. So a gain of about 4 on the carry. He's going to set up 3rd down and 7.
Really like watching Jaden Davis. You know, in that first half for North Garland, he only had 27 yards on 14 carries, but he's a workhorse, and he's not afraid to get hit and try to drive those 265, 270-pound defensive tackles. And Taurus Rucker, who is in his first year as the head coach for North Garland, knows how special he is. When he took the job, he pinpointed Davis and said, this guy's a winner. We've got to have him out there most plays.
3rd down, they're going to throw it deep, and boy, a nice play out there by the corner on the coverage as he undercut the route that time and was able to get his hand on the football. That's number 32, J.J. Hunt, and watch him come underneath.
Well, what an athlete right there. Just leaps, gets a left hand on it, and Mateo Howard was sitting there waiting on it. Cameron Shaw with a really good touch pass. That was thrown right where it should have been. Just a good play by the DB.
4th down and 7 here. The Raiders appear to have the offense on the field. Here's a look at Shaw on your screen, and again filling in for God's Power Nawahi, who got injured and done a pretty good job. And I think we've got a timeout called here, looks like, by the Raiders, and we do indeed. That is their first charge timeout of the 3rd quarter here of the 2nd half. And we've got right at the 6-minute mark, so halfway through the 3rd quarter. We're going to keep it here, and we're going to talk a little bit about the standings now. So as we show our graphic on the screen, you're going to see the first 3 teams. You've got Wiley East, Wiley, name it for us with those X's. They have already clinched a playoff spot. So really it comes down to that next bunch of 4 teams. You see Garland sitting at 4-3, and then you've got Lakeview, Rowlett, Sachse all at 3-4. Ironically enough, though, based on tiebreakers in the district race, it doesn't matter whether it's a 3-way tie, 4-way tie for 4th place. Lakeview and Rowlett have already been eliminated from the playoffs, so you can take them out of the equation. Boils down to this. Sachse wins tonight. If they can hold this lead, they make the playoffs with a Garland loss tomorrow night. If Garland wins tomorrow night, Garland would then be that 4th place team.
They would, and I think it's interesting that Wiley East ends up winning the district, and Texas football predicted them to finish 2nd to last in the district. This is a really good 9-6A.
Boy, and there's that 4th down throw, and it is just short. They were looking for number 26 there of the Raiders, Hosea Rodemaker, and boy, the pass falls incomplete, and Sachse's going to have great field position to start. You know, you mentioned Wiley East as we take a look at that replay.
See Shaw there, good job. Win pass protection right there for North Garland, but he just got under that throw and did not quite finish it and put it at the feet of the wide receiver. Not a great toss right there by Shaw, but you know, Sachse, a team that comes in, they knew that this was going to be a game where they had to execute. They were not going to take North Garland lightly. They knew that they didn't have God's Power Nawahi, and they would try to bring a couple of extra guys down to the box. But they knew that coming in. And still, I'm just impressed with the level of focus by the entire offensive unit, because they've been on point since the outset right there. That's the first time that they've really defended that RPO well. They took not only the running back, but the quarterback as well. They really swarmed Brendan George. But aside from that, this has been a really well-oiled Sachse machine. That was a good play, though, by Joseph Rosales, that Sam linebacker, the junior.
Yeah, absolutely was a loss on the play. Here's 2nd down. They're going to run that pitch play, and goes, of course, as a pass. That's number 21 in the game. That is Caden Calkins, and he's going to have a nice reception all the way inside the 25-yard line down to the 22.
23-yard pickup right here by Sachse. Well, anything they've wanted to do, they have done it. This flip pass has become very popular along the college ranks. And you see a lot of the NFL teams running that now, but good run by Calkins. And over the last 2 or 3 weeks, Sachse's been able to get in some personnel you don't usually see.
Hand off to the left. Boy, that is a nice run. Number 11, Grayson King with the carry, and well, he is going to have a first, or set up Sachse with a 1st and goal at around the 6-yard line. Watch this run.
Well, they've lined him up at running back. You know, he's actually a quarterback by trade, but he's such a great athlete. Since he's not really playing quarterback, you see him step out of bounds just inside the 10-yard line. But he is an athlete. They get the ball into his hands. Good things have happened the last part of district play.
There's a snap. The handoff goes
Look at this.
to one of the linemen out around the right side. He's going to lose yards, and a penalty flag comes out as well.
Are they going to call this an illegal touch, or did he check in?
Well, if he didn't check in, it's going to be a legal touch for sure.
I don't think Mark Behrens even cares that there's a flag thrown. They just wanted to hand the football off to Brady Payne.
There you go.
Hey, that big boy wanted to bounce.
Yeah, he
was
did.
trying to bounce that thing, wasn't he?
He didn't make it, though, very far, did he?
It looks like he doesn't take many carries in practice. Doesn't get a lot of touches.
Exactly. Here we go on the call. Got a personal foul face mask, so he must have checked in.
Yes, he did.
Watch it. He's in the backfield.
This is
there
a
you go.
guard that they handed to. He's not trying to get his shoulders squared up. This boy's trying to get to the edge. He wants to get to that edge, and he almost pancaked the guy there, didn't he?
There's a pitch to Calkins. He's going to stroll into the end zone for a touchdown.
Touchdown, Mustangs.
Caden Calkins with the touchdown for the Mustangs, and they have reached half a century here with 3:50 remaining in the third.
Nice blocking out there on the edge. A little reach block by King. And Calkins does it himself. He had some celebrating going on after the play. But Sachse has come on board with they have brought their A game tonight. This is the most points that they've scored in any game this year. They had a couple of games where they scored 48. But this is by far their most impressive showing.
Had a penalty for unsportsmanlike call against North Garland, and going to penalize the Raiders, it looks like, on the kickoff. So the extra point attempt coming up here for the Mustangs. Again, just a really perfect night so far by the Mustangs. There's the extra point attempt. It's up, and it looks to be good. And Scott, let's just keep it here one more time as we get set for everything. I want to go back to the point I was making, talking about Wiley East. You mentioned them earlier. And yeah, exactly. One of the reasons they were picked so low in district play, of course, coming up from 5A through realignment, but they only had 3 wins last year. So a lot of people thinking, making the jump to 6A in this district, that they were going to finish, as you mentioned, really either last or next to last. And they've really surprised a lot of folks this year. It's a good squad that Wiley East has over there, and they are going to be our district champions for this year. And again, they're looking to go to 10-0, although across the way, Rowlett's giving them all they want. Right now, Rowlett's actually leading by 2 touchdowns, so Wiley East may get their first loss tonight if they can't come back against Rowlett, as again, Rowlett up by 2 scores. But one other point I wanted to make quickly for our viewers, based on our playoff scenario that we talked about, we've got the 3 teams that have clinched. You've got Garland, Sachse fighting for that final playoff spot. If the Mustangs make the playoffs, they will face off against Rockwall in the bi-district round. For the Garland Owls, if they win tomorrow night and they're able to clinch the playoff spot, they will play Royce City in the bi-district round. So that would be your matchups, as District 10 6A is already set as far as playoff positioning.
Sure. From a district standpoint, it's always fun to root for the underdog, but you really don't want Wiley East to lose that game. You want them to have momentum going into the playoffs. They're your first place team. As you mentioned, they're making that move from 5A to 6A. You want your representative to go as far as, I don't care who you're cheering for. You want your teams to go as deep as they possibly can in the postseason. And look at what happened last year. Your district champion didn't even win a playoff game. You don't want that to happen. You want the district to represent itself, to at least get a couple of playoff wins. You don't want to go one and done 4 different times.
Yeah, exactly. In our district 9-6A here, of course, we have gone 0-4 in the first round of the playoffs for the last 2 years. So just as you said, Scott, we certainly want to get off the snide there and see if we can get a couple of wins here in district, in bi-district.
And you want, I didn't check the Harris ratings this week, but you want your district representative to be, as highly rated as possible. And Wiley East a couple of weeks ago was trying to crack the top 100 in 6A. I'll look and see where they finish, where they stand right now, but you want them as high as you can get them.
Saw the touchback there, the kick out of bounds after, of course, the penalty yardage was marked off. So kick out of bounds. North Garland starts from their own 25, and the running play gains about 5 yards. So nice gain on first down for the Raiders.
Second down from the 30.
And second down and 5 coming up.
Well, this North Garland team, you know, they've had a lot of tough games this year. There's no doubt. And no team that they have played has really given them more fits than North Garland, talking about Wiley East and a couple of the other top teams in the district. This game not really representative of how they played this year.
Well, you saw Mateo Howard take that handoff coming across, and Sachse, they read it well. They knew what was coming, and that's a big loss, as they're going to lose about 6 yards. Well, that was Mateo Howard. Big number 91 for the Mustangs read that play perfectly and is able to tackle Mateo Howard for a loss of 6.
Who did you say was going to play potentially Royce City in the postseason?
Well, that would be Garland. If Garland makes the playoffs, they would face Royce City in the first round.
And the Harris ratings had Wiley East ranked 85th in 6A. Royce City 81 right now in what, 280 6A teams.
They're down at 11. Shaw steps out of the pressure, throws it little high and incomplete. There is a penalty flag. That is, again, usually in the area of holding, so we may see a holding call here going against North Garland, but we will wait and sort it out. There's another penalty flag here on the North Garland sideline as well, so 2 penalty flags on the field.
You've seen a lot of hands to the face being called this year, too, on the defense. I think we'll see, though. That was way behind the play, and generally when the team's down is 56-14, you won't call holding, which leads me to believe this might have been against Sachse. We'll see.
Here comes the ruling. Illegal forward pass against the Raiders. That, of course, a loss of down, so it's going to set up 4th down. So out of all that, that's what the call was an illegal forward passes. Shaw had crossed the line before he got rid of the ball. You know,
and you have to have, we get a replay here. The entire body of the quarterback has to be across the line of scrimmage. We'll see if Shaw did cross it.
Well, I don't know about
that's
that.
A tough call right there. You know, in a game like this, I would not have called that.
No, I would not have either. So the Raiders forced to punt it here. Pretty good punt into the wind. The Mustangs don't have a return man, but it doesn't matter. They're going to have field position once again in Raider territory. They're going to start at the North Garland 48.
It's funny. You say, well, a penalty's a penalty. Why wouldn't you call it? Well, at every level, and I've made this point before, it took me getting into coaching to realize the officials don't call every infraction they see. They have to arbitrate the game with common sense. If a penalty, if an infraction doesn't affect the play, and it's not a close game, they're not going to pull the flag out. Right. So officials have to arbitrate the game with some common sense. You don't like that sometimes, but you learn to live with it.
Learn to live with it, exactly. Handoff goes inside. Boy, nice run by number 22 of the Mustangs. It's going to be a gain of about 8 yards on the carry for Khalees Harris. When Harris is a load when he gets in the game. He is hard to bring down. We've seen him a couple times this year with some big games. See how tough he is to bring down.
He's very tenacious down there, isn't he? 5'6", 220, senior. He is hard to bring down, and he's, you know, I like how he runs with a little bit lower center of gravity and keeps his balance when he gets hit.
So big run there for Harris. We have come to the end of 3 at Williams Stadium. Our score, Sachse 56, North Garland 14. Back for the start of the 4th quarter here at Williams Stadium. Boy, it's been all Sachse in this game tonight, 56-14, as we head to the final quarter here on the season for North Garland. For the Mustangs, they hope this is not the final quarter of their season. There's a quick throw out, and nobody in the flat out there for number 84 to pick up that reception and the easy first down. There's Max La Jolla, and you mentioned it, Scott, it's great to see some of these players that don't get a whole lot of action during the season, and we're going to see a lot of receivers that have touched the ball in this game.
And that's why I'm not a big proponent of a running clock, because you want to get some of the back end of the bench guys. You want to get some of these youngsters that'll be, making history in the years to come. A lot of time and some seasoning. These are valuable minutes for a lot of these players.
And off to Harris. Nice spin move. Back to the inside. Another in cut. Look at this. Touchdown Mustangs.
Nice job, Harris. High stepping after he crosses the double wide stripe. Boy, he's excited. That was a great run right there.
A 30-yard touchdown. And watch this move here
it's
at the line of scrimmage.
They hand it to Harris. Doesn't see an opening. Didn't see any daylight. Hits, spins, makes a cut. Now I'm going to get vertical. I've been doing this my whole life, he says. And then gets into the third level, runs away from the safety. And look at that high step. That big boy can move.
Yes,
He's got some moves. How about that run?
Boy, great run by Harris. 30 yards on the touchdown. And the Mustangs into the 60s tonight. Snap and hold. The kick is up, and that kick is good. Why don't we keep it here?
Oh, look at that smile.
Yeah, he's excited.
He's sick. Do you see him wiping his nose right there? Well, that is a sick run right there by Harris. 5'6", 220. Give it to him again. Nice move. Didn't see that off the A-gap. Spin in the backfield. Oh, I got another one in me. Yes, sir. What a touchdown run.
Broke some ankles on that cut.
Boy,
for sure.
Didn't he? Looks like a two-guard in basketball. A little inside out. Broke some ankles.
So our camera guys have the shot there of Harris. Look at that big smile on the bench. So here's my question for you, Scott. When you look at him there on the sideline, and hopefully the players won't get in front. Look at, there's no knee pads. Like these players, they've got these their football pants. Yeah, exactly. Crazy.
It's exactly what it is. He's got pads under the shorts.
Well, big smile by Harris there. And a nice run for him, with the Mustangs sitting at 63 tonight. Who really would have thought this tonight? And, we were talking about their receivers, Scott, really how they've been able to, really kind of throw the ball around. And right now, they have thrown, or let me say it this way, they have completions to 11 different receivers tonight. 11.
And I think that really started with Brendan George's propensity for making great decisions and great reads on time early in the game. The second drive of the game, I mean, he was sharp. He was as sharp as I have seen him. And if he takes that with him to the postseason, I don't care who they're going to play, they've got a chance. They may play Rockwall. They got a shot.
We see the pitch there on the return, but
Takes the pitch back.
Mustangs ready for that one. The return out to the 27-yard line. The other stat from the Mustangs perspective, again, 11 different receivers have touched the ball tonight, had completions, but the other stat to look at, the Mustang quarterbacks still perfect on the night. No incompletions tonight for the Mustangs. George officially 13 of 13 in this game for 245 yards and 3 touchdowns, and you've got Gutierrez 5 of 5 for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Would really love to talk with Mark Behrens, the head coach for Sachse, after this game, because his junior quarterback was just sensational. As good as anybody we've seen in this district. That's how good he was tonight. And not just by the numbers, but I mean, like I said, the decision making, the toughness, the leadership, the game management, getting everybody lined up. They were doing anything they wanted to do. They were running power. They were running counter. They would get the ball to the edge. They were running fly sweeps and flip passes and swing passes. And they did everything that they wanted to do tonight. And a lot of it has to do, number one, with the offensive line. He had plenty of protection. There's no doubt. But George was just sensational. You can see why he's thrown for over 1,000 yards this year.
Handoff down on first down to DeCoris Taylor. Nice run on the jet sweep out to the 32-yard line. That was a gain of 5. They're going to hand it off to him again. He's going to pick up the first down, a gain of 7 more out to the 39. And pardon me, that wasn't DeCoris Taylor. That was number 22 with that carry. That is Daniel Ortiz.
Yeah, and I like how he covers up that football. Good lead block there. down inside by Jonathan Dang, who will line up as an H-back. They like to bring that H-back up into the A-gap and serve as kind of a lead blocker. Dang is that guy, kind of a tight end slash H-back. Going to do that again here. Just too much speed this time by Sachse. That defensive front for the Mustangs is really good. Well, one of the top, they've developed into one of the top defensive units in the league.
Yes, they have. That was number 33, Sean Duvall, the sophomore, with that last tackle. Look at that. Boy, pursued, and the nice angle on that play for the loss of 2 yards.
You look at Duvall. This is a converted running back who's really versatile, and he's developed into a good baseball player. Not only can he play the outside linebacker position, he's pretty good on the baseball diamond too, just a sophomore. He'll be back.
Second down, 12 now for the Raiders. Another inside handoff, and boy, no gain on that play, so we're going to have third down and long coming up here. And guess who made the tackle once again? That was Duvall, and well, that's 2 in a row for him.
Duvall's had a good game. Brunswick's had a good game at that linebacker position. They get to the line of scrimmage. You know, I sort of lean toward having head coaches that are defensive guys. And remember, Mark Behrens, who's the head coach for Sachse, was a defensive coach for a long, long time. Particularly specialized on the defensive line, and their defensive line coach was kind of a retire rehire. It was an older gentleman that, after, you know, it was so hot in the summer, it was like, you know, I'm not sure I can do this. You know, we had an overly hot summer this year.
Yep.
And it was taking a toll, and so he went ahead and hung him up, and so Mark Behrens sort of took over the defensive front, and that's where teams are made. You want to look at great football teams? Look at the defensive front here for Sachse. O'Feely, 9 hurries, 5 sacks. Creasy, a backup end, 2 sacks, 14 tackles. 25 tackles for counts at D tackle and 3 sacks. 3 sacks for Walls, 4 sacks for O'Feely. They've got sacks all over the map. They are really good up front.
4th down and on to punt the football. That third down play was, boy, a nice play by the Sachse defense. Once again, forces punt by the Raiders. It's going to be down inside the 30, around the 27-yard line, and the Mustang offense will come back on the field.
And you know, you see a lot of defensive linemen that like to play like Aaron Donald, who does a lot of stuff with his hands and uses the quickness, but that's not how this Sachse defensive unit plays. They make contact, and they will they will go screws to screws. Right off the bat, they are going to press and shed and yank the guy off and get into the backfield. They are an old school defensive line. They play like it, and it helps their culture. Tough teams, tough players make tough teams, and tough teams win. And that's why we're seeing Sachse with a chance to go to the postseason if Garland loses tomorrow night.
Yep, and that's all that needs to happen, is the Mustangs obviously in shape to win this game, and we are inside of 5 minutes to go in the inside handoff for about 4 yards to number 47, the new running back in the game for the Mustangs.
This is interesting, though. You go into the 7th, 8th, 9th week, as again, North Garland still has not quit. Nice tackle there down inside. But isn't it fun to watch district play where every game means something? It was so much fun for every team this year because every team had a chance.
Sure did, and you saw that adversity in the league this year in the district, and as you said, you know, 9 teams, and really all 9 had a chance, and we
Ball's
saw
out.
Yeah, you see the ball come flying out that time. I think North thinks they've got it, and they're coming off the field like they do, so that should be North Garland football. Got an injured Raider on the field as well, but yeah, that's another thing in this game. That's our first turnover.
First turnover, and it's hard to imagine because Sachse's been playing some physical football here. Not so much on the other side, but I really like that. That's a nice effort there to jar that football loose by Miles, who is a safety on this team. Noah Miles, the junior, he'll be back next year. A guy that, you know, has played in a number of big games, stepped up the last two or three weeks to get things done for North Garland from that safety position. You got an injured player out there right here.
Yeah, that was number 58 for the Raiders. Good to see him up on his feet. That's Cleaver Hernandez, and we're getting some help off the field, but good to see him get up here, get in this final game for the Raiders.
Cleaver's a starting nose guard.
Exactly.
You know, and he was having to play nose in an odd front, but they've sort of morphed a little bit. They've kind of gone into the 4-man front because, like we said, they've got so many teams now. And I've been trying to watch this throughout a lot of the different Friday night matchups that I see to see how many teams are going more to tight end.
Right.
Because that really helps a lot of teams, especially they like to run that RPO play action.
So the Raiders with a 1st and 10 at the Mustang 36 after the first turnover of the game for either side.
I think it was a Wildcat snap to Mateo.
I think that was Taylor, wasn't it? Of course, no, you're right. It was Mateo Howard, number 3. So, yeah, not much there, 1-yard gain. And clock continues to run as we are inside of 3.5. And I just want to take this moment. Again, this is our last, the last district game for these two teams, for Sachse and North Garland. And this is our 20th season broadcasting games. And again, we're the guys that are kind of out in front. We're the ones talking. But let me tell you, an outstanding job by GRS TV. They do a great job each and every year. Just want to talk a little bit about Delbert Richardson and the job he does year in and year out. Again, 20th years. Delbert's only missed 1 game, and I know he was disappointed to miss that. Scott, that was the playoff game last year, but think about that. In 20 years, out of all the broadcasts we've done, Delbert's been here for all but 1 of them.
Dedication, and he does a great job. And what's interesting is that a lot of the crew are students in Garland ISD.
There's Larry Grimes right there on the camera. Look at him. Well, he's been here a long time, been a big part of this one. Homer Clayton right there on the camera as well, giving the thumbs up. Oh, look at there. Homer does a great job for GRS TV. Another look at Larry there. We're going to take a look at Larry once again in the end zone. As you see the handoff come here, that's Mateo Howard again. He's going to pick up the 1st down and get pushed out of bounds. Want to talk about John Cook as well. John, really signals everything into us and makes this thing go. And well, John's a great part of this staff as well. Then, of course, you got Alan Horton in there, and as you mentioned, a lot of the young men and women that are in the Lakeview program are running our cameras as well. And so it's just a great job that Delbert and these guys do each and every week. And boy, 20 seasons. Congratulations to each and every. Hey, there we go. There's Jacob right there, giving a wave to us. Great job, young man. Nice spin move there. That's Howard playing quarterback, and he's going to try to throw it. Let's see. Oh, and it is incomplete. So, again, just want to give a shout-out on the 20th season to the GRS TV family. And, well, we enjoy bringing these games to you, and they do a great job each and every week.
You will not find a better production in any school district than the job that this crew does, I promise you.
Totally agree.
It's incredible. The quality, the production, the dedication, and sometimes we have to move games around and move crews around, and they do it effortlessly, and we everybody appreciates it.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. Hey, there's a couple more of our camera crew members right there. You got Lathan and Hayden down there.
Howard keeps it up the middle.
There's Howard up the middle. It's going to be 1st and goal for North Garland as we approach 1 minute remaining in the game. So congratulations here to the Sachse Mustangs. Now comes the waiting game. Like I mentioned, Scott, they were supposed to play this game tomorrow night, and it was going to be one of those, probably, somebody trying to say, hey, what's going on over in Wiley with the Garland game? Well, now they've got to sit and wait.
Got to sit and wait, but that's okay because they'll be feeling good about it too. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. Garland, a really nice team. Obviously, Sachse hoping for an Owl loss tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game for Garland, of course. Boy, look at the pushing forward. Did he get across the end zone? Still no signal yet, but it's going to be close. It's going to depend on the spot here. Still have not seen a signal, so they're marking it just short of the goal line, so it's going to be 2nd and goal. But, again, that's going to be a tough game for the Owls tomorrow night. Wiley is tough at home. And there is the touchdown by the Raiders, and they get on the board one more time here with 15 seconds remaining. Mateo Howard.
Yeah, fitting that Mateo Howard's the one that takes it in. He's had such a great last 2 weeks. Had a kickoff return for a touchdown, a couple of touchdowns last week, and he has been the offense for North Garland. That's a nice play right there by Mateo. He's got a bright future.
Yeah, and a good way to end the season for the Raiders. Again, I know it's not the year that they wanted or expected, but, you know, nice to kind of come back there at the end of this game and put more points on the board. Extra point attempt coming up. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So our new score, and we'll keep it here, Sachse 63, North Garland 21. There's a look at Mateo Howard right there, getting some high fives on the sideline. They're pulling him up now, and
he's had a great year. You know, Taurus Rucker's done a good job with this North Garland team, and we mentioned just a couple of things, you know, as a first-year head coach that, you know, everything goes so fast for a player that doesn't have much experience. It can be that way for a head coach, but one of the things that he's talked about is coaching in practice. It's very hard for some head coaches to sort of step back and let the assistants do their job. But Taurus Rucker did a great job of that, of delegating in practice, and his assistant coaches, I know, appreciate it. And they've had a good season. But Sachse, as you mentioned, all they can do is wait now.
Yeah, sit and wait. They will go ahead and wind down the last 15 seconds of the clock. And so we have come to the end of the game here at Williams Stadium. Congratulations to Sachse. They win this game 63-21. Stay alive in the playoff chase.
They do.
Now they just got to sit and wait and see what happens tomorrow night between Garland and Wiley. So a great game here tonight at Williams Stadium. Our final, the Sachse Mustangs 63, the North Garland Raiders 21. We'll see you next time on GRS TV, and we'll lead it out with some highlights.